Welcome people, we end up back at again with another video. In today's video, I'll be giving you a preview of Chelsea's next game against Newcastle away from home at St. James's Park. Kickoff is at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, South African Standard Time. Now, this is a big game for multiple reasons, and I'm going to get into those reasons right now. First of all, we are coming up against a team which is in direct competition with us for a place in the top four. When you look at the table, right, and the top four positions specifically, Man City will be in the top four, confirmed. They are a really, really good side. Some consider them the best in the world, and can you blame them? They are the champions of Europe, and the European continent has the highest standard of football, right? Cool. Then you look at Arsenal. Arsenal are a strong team. Will they win the league? I'm not sure. I don't think so necessarily. However, they're a strong team. They will be in the top four. Then you look at a team such as Liverpool. Liverpool are a strong team as well, right? They're doing well. They can easily finish in the top four. There's no reason why they shouldn't, if I think about it. Unless they get injuries and they really struggle, they should finish in the top four. As for fourth, it was looking like Tottenham's definitely going to be there until they played Chelsea, had some injuries. Then after that, they lost that game, lost to Wolves the following game, right? Now it's looking shaky for them. It's looking very, very shaky. They could easily drop out of that top four race, and I think they will. So when I'm looking at the battle for fourth, you've got Tottenham in the chat. You've got Man United in the chat. You've got Brighton in the chat. You've got Newcastle in the chat. You've got Aston Villa in the chat. And you have Chelsea in the chat. 6 teams going for one position, which just tells you that when these teams play one another, they need to be not only gaining points for themselves, but taking points off of a direct rival for a top 4 place. That's one of the biggest reasons that this game is key. Another reason is the fact that it allows us to improve our league position and make it more and more respectable week by week. Because what has happened over the last, let's say, 18 months or since the beginning of last season is that I feel like teams don't fear Chelsea anymore. If you're a small team and you see that Chelsea's on your fixture list, I don't think you necessarily get scared. And we have been in a good run of form, right? We're doing much better than we were, right, at some points in the season. However, I still don't think that we strike fear in the hearts of our opponents. So we need to get that reputation back. They need to look at their fixture list and be like, we're playing these lots again. That's the kind of feeling that we need to invoke in them, right? Or even shaking in their boots, right? They shouldn't be looking at us on their fixture list thinking, we can get 3 points from these guys. So that's another reason why this game is important, right? And lastly, prior to the international break, we had some good momentum with a win at Spurs away and a 4-4 draw with Man City at home. That was great, right? Now, the international break came, it took away that momentum, and we need to build momentum afresh, right? And that's the third and final reason why this game is key. Now, in terms of the Chelsea 4, Man City 4 draw, I did not make a review for that, right? And I wasn't able to watch the game. I just watched highlights and I made a few notes on what we could have done better in terms of things that we did incorrectly, right? What are things that we need to fix up on to prevent us from conceding goals, right, throughout the rest of the season, and things that we did correctly in the game that we need to keep on doing and we need to keep on seeing. However, I don't want to do a separate quick match review for that. What I'd much rather do is fill this preview with a little bit of notes from that particular game, right? Or fill this preview with insights from that particular game as it becomes relevant. Now, without further ado, let me let you guys know of the injury news that we have. And then on top of that, we can get into the lineup. Now, in terms of injury news, what I'm very, very happy about is that Armando Broja is once again not on the injury list, right? His left knee is okay, right? And it seems as though he's available for selection with no issues. That's absolutely fantastic. As for Levi Colwill, he didn't play against Man City because of a shoulder injury, and he didn't go away with the England national team, right? Because of that shoulder injury, right? I think it was just a precaution, and he is available for selection tomorrow. Malo Gusto, he did not go away with the French national team, right? And I think that was just due to the fact that he took a precaution with his knee because his knee had strapping on it recently, but it has come off, which is a good sign, which shows that, okay, he's doing better now. He's all right. On top of that, Reece James didn't go away with England, much like Levi Colwill. And I think that was just a precaution because he understands that he's had a lot of injuries, right, in recent years, and he doesn't want that to continue. So in this return of his from injury, he's trying to, how can I say this, assimilate. He's trying to come back slowly, reintegrate himself slowly, right, into playing first team football on a regular basis. He doesn't want to overextend himself and leading to another injury and more time on the sidelines. And we really don't need that. So I think it was a very mature decision for him to say, I'm going to skip out on playing with my national team for the best interest of my club. Shout out to him, right? And unfortunately, Christopher Nkunku and Romeo Lavia are still not quite where they need to be available for selection, right? They still need to go through their reconditioning phase of their rehabilitation, right? And Nkunku is apparently slightly ahead of Lavia in terms of that process, but we need to give them time. We don't need more setbacks with injuries and stuff like that. Let's just give them time. Let's just chill. They will come back when they're ready. All right. Now, let's get into the lineup for this game. In goal, I would go none other than Robert Sanchez. That's an easy one, right? Right back, I would go Reece James, right? And the reason I'm going Reece James instead of Malo Gusto is because Reece has been playing more recently, right? He played against Spurs, right? He played in that win, and he played in the draw against Man City, and he even got an assist for Sterling's goal in that game, right? He has good momentum, right? He had good momentum before the international break, right? And I think that we can just keep it going, keep his rhythm going in terms of his reintegration, right? There's no need to be starting Gusto when we don't have concerns about Reece James not being able to start the game. He will be able to start the game. Whether he'll be able to see out a full 90, we're not sure. We will see. All right, cool. Right centre back, I'll go Axel Disasi. Left centre back will go Thiago Silva, and left back Marco Correa. Now, I was thinking of putting Colwill at left centre back and Thiago Silva at right centre back, and then Marco Correa at left back. However, I thought to myself, it's not really necessary to just bring Colwill straight back into the team because we know that Disasi is capable of making mistakes, but he's also capable of performing at a very high level. So there's no need to drop him and put Colwill straight back into the side. Colwill can just earn his place in the side, right, by working hard in training, right, showing Mr. Mauricio Pochettino what he's made of, right, in training. He doesn't need to be rushed back into this team. It's chilled. Disasi's got it. As for the left back selection, right, Marco Correa has been very, very good since he's how can I say this? Since his redemption arc began, right, against Brighton in that Carabao Cup game that we won 1-0, right? His redemption arc has been simply immaculate. Just one thing on him quickly, right? I like that he gets tight to opposition players, but one thing that I think he needs to improve on is not giving away so many fouls. For example, in the last game against Man City, he gave away the Haaland penalty, which Haaland had scored, right? And that was not an isolated incident, in my opinion, because of the fact that you see that he plays very aggressively, right? And sometimes that puts him in situations where he's getting yellows. And the more yellows that a player accumulates over time, right, the more likely it is that they're going to get suspended and they're going to miss a game. And with a player like Correa playing at the level that he's playing at, we don't need him missing games at all. So we just need him to get tight to players, right, tomorrow. But don't be giving away needless free kicks. Don't be getting a yellow card for no reason, all right? If he needs to get a yellow card because he needs to take one for the team because Newcastle would be in on goal, fine. But don't do it needlessly. Cool. Now, I'm choosing to go with a 4-2-3-1. In the double pivot, I'll go Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, right? That's an easy one because I would say they've been good this season. So we need to keep that up. The three players in front of them, I would go On the left, I would go Raheem Sterling. He scored against Man City in the previous game, and Sterling is a leader in this attack, right? Because there's so many young players, and he's one of very few experienced players, right, in the attack. And as such, I think responsibility falls on him to lead the line in some ways, right? Even though Jackson is the striker in this team, right? He's the number one striker right now in this team. Sterling has that responsibility because he's the oldest, right? He has played at the highest level for the longest. So that's why he plays for me, right? I would love to start Mudryk, right? And I think this could be a good game for him because I think he'll be end to end. There'll be space in behind. But I think Sterling is just undroppable right now. I don't think you can drop him at this present moment. Now, in the number 10, Conor Gallagher, easy, right? In the previous game, he didn't score. However, he did assist Thiago Silva, number one. And number two, he took a long range, not long range, he took a shot out from outside the box, right? Which was saved. But then Mr. Nicholas Jackson, right? He poached a goal, right? And got an easy tap in, right? And what I liked about that is that Jackson was in the right place. But not only that, Conor Gallagher was brave enough to take a shot from outside of the box. Because last season, it seemed as though sometimes we wanted to walk the ball into the back of the net, right? We wanted to be right there by the goal and then we want to score, right? Instead of taking long shots. No one was really taking long shots last season. So to see us now getting goals from inside the box as well as having that courage to just take a strike from outside the box, it's good, right? He starts, right? Just not only because of how he played in that game, but also the fact that he is so hungry and so passionate. He covers so much ground for this team. He's going to get you high turnovers up the pitch. He's just doing really well this season. He deserves a new contract, right? Cool. On the right-hand side, I would play Cole Palmer, right? In fact, some people call him Cold Palmer now because of the fact that he was able to step up against his former team and put away a penalty, right, to equalize the game 4-4, right, in the dying minutes of the game, right? Shout out to him for that. Cole, outside of that, is just phenomenal in terms of finding space, right? Looking up and picking out good passes. That's what he does best, in my opinion, right? And that's why he's the first name on the team sheet right now. And I said it in a previous upload, right? He's competing with Reece James as for the title of most talented player in the entire squad. So shout out to him. Up top, I would go Nicholas Jackson. Easy, right? He scored 4 goals in his last 2 games. He has momentum off of that, right? He will be feeling confident because of that. Let's keep it going. Now, Armando Broja did win the penalty that Palmer scored, but Jackson needs to play. It's as simple as that. Now, let's say we're coming up against difficulty, right? Again, when we're playing Newcastle tomorrow, what subs do we make? If we go with this plan and it's not working, what do we do? One idea, bring on Mudryk on the left, right, for Sterling. If things are not working out, that's one thing we can do. Then from there, we could bring off Jackson for Broja, right? But this is in extreme circumstances where we really need a goal and we really need to change things up. Bring on Broja for Jackson, right? And maybe he can add something a little bit different. But apart from that, we might be a bit stuck in that situation. But those are the first subs I would think of making. Then from there, maybe you turn to other players who haven't had so much time, like Amadueke, right? Put him on the right, right? Maybe take off Gallagher, put Palmer in the middle, put Madueke on the right, see what he can do, right? He'll be hungry to show what he can do, given the fact that he's had very few minutes this season. Matson as well, you could bring him off the bench, right, and see what he can do off the bench. So there are options tomorrow if we find ourselves stuck, right, and unable to get a goal. But let's not be in that position. Let's turn up tomorrow. Let's play a good football and let's get like 2 goals early on and we just cruise from there and we see out the win and we get a 2-0 win. I think that's the prediction that I'm going for. I think we'll win 2-0, right? Nothing too crazy because we're playing a good team and we are playing them at their home ground. So that's why I'm going with that particular score. I think that we've got the quality and we have the confidence right now. And Newcastle, they've got the quality, but they don't have the confidence because they lost their last 2 games before the international break. So for those reasons, I think that we can beat them tomorrow, but we'll see what happens, right? And I think it'll be an interesting game nonetheless. And I'll see you guys after it for the review. Cheers, people. Before I go, please like the video, share the video, comment on the video, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications to be notified once I have uploaded. Another thing, right? The most important of those that I've asked you guys is to comment, right? Please tell me, in your opinion, what I need to do to improve the channel. Because the way I'm thinking about it is right now I've got 56 subscribers. Shout out to all of you guys. This time next year, I'd like to have 1,000, right? That's a very, very ambitious goal, but I think I can manage that if I'm uploading consistently, right? I start making my own thumbnails starting from tomorrow or next week at the latest, right? I use vidIQ to come up with the best titles, right? Which get the most clicks per minute. I have thumbnails which allow me to get the best clicks per minute, right? As well. All of that, if I'm doing all of that right 95% of the time, I don't think there's any reason why I can't get to 1,000 subscribers by this time next year. But please leave your constructive criticism in the comments down below. I would truly, truly appreciate it. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Cheers.